Welcome back from that break. It's been an overwhelming headlines that we took back there. Right now, we're moving over to the segment. We're talking about rising cost of food in Nigeria. That's part of our matters are rising. One of the matters that have arisen over and over, and even in several of the papers we read today, is the matter of high cost of living, inflation in Nigeria. And we have an amazing, I always like to use the word amazing when I say an amazing person, to talk this with us is the former Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources in Enugu State. He's no other person than Dr. Matthew Idu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Honestly, like yesterday I had a guest and I was wondering, are you still in the same economy? Today, wherever, if you look like someone that was plucked out of a farm, sir. How fresh you're looking.
Yeah, farm is greenish.
Yeah.
And green is life.
No
apparently, you look just good.
Whatever garden produced you, I need to be planted there. I am mobile. I'm that mobile plant.
Thank you.
You're welcome to the show. Sir, inflation, the rising cost of food, everything. You go to the market, you ask, you're trying to buy ugu. Ugu that was sold for 50 naira. You can't get it for 300 naira at the moment. And you're wondering what happened. The woman will say, fuel is expensive. Do they use fuel to produce ugu?
My dear, what you said is the reality on ground. Fuel is not used to produce ugu, but fuel is a kind of catalyst to bring ugu to the market. The woman in the farm or the farmer needs transportation to get to the market. And in transport, you need fuel to do it.
Yes.
So when it's a chain reaction,
Yes.
it begins from one, it continues on the gates to
Yes.
the final consumer,
Yes.
who bears the whole brunt.
True.
Yes.
So that is what it gives us. Even if they are not taken at the same level, maybe the hike in price of fuel and the hike in the price of food, if they are not the same,
Yeah.
they don't have the same percentage increase, it has an effect.
Okay.
Definitely there must be an effect.
Okay, you try to explain, I might want to understand it that you mean her transporting from where she plucked it, she got it from her garden,
Yes.
to where she's selling it costs something,
Of course.
transportation. That's fine. But I go to buy gari or rice, and a bag of rice, it's the price, it's where your hands can reach. And you're wondering, you're asking how, and they give you another answer. Dollar has increased. I'm asking myself, the exchange rate, the exchange means in Nigeria, is it dollar? Is it not naira? So how come dollar affects the prices of our foodstuff?
It's where we have found ourselves. It's what we've caused for ourselves. We have allowed the currency dollar to determine what we do in the country by importation. We import almost everything we use. We import everything, and once you are importing whatever you are using, the controlling environment is the country of export, the country that is exporting to you. Like we have the dollars in those areas. Well, that's not, what do we produce? Machinery, mechanization, even the least we could do, we are not doing. So we depend on externalities.
Okay,
sir.
So please, can you give us a brief overview of the current situation and how significantly have food prices increased? And what are some of the staple foods that are affected by this happenings in Nigeria?
Yeah, it's almost on all value chain. Talk of crop, like you mentioned, rice.
Yeah.
Talk of livestock. The feed we produce in livestock, the feed we have to feed our chickens.
Yes, sir.
Most of the things that we do are imported. And what do you expect at the end of the day? You expect the rise in costs. Because those things we were supposed to produce ourselves indigenously here, we are not doing them. And it's not as if we cannot do them. But because we have, the political will has not come to those who should start doing them. For instance, we're talking about rice. The price of rice escalating to a high level. At a point in this country, I remember, the then Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Adeshino, tried all his possible best for Nigeria to start producing their own rice. He made us to understand that we should look inwards. We should start producing our own rice. He made us to understand that those things we eat coming from outside there are rice that have been packed for years. And at the time they get down here, they've lost their food value. But we still consume them because we don't have alternative. Consume them as rice.
Okay, sir.
Then Nigeria started producing. There was what we call the e-wallet then. The government were actually talking to farmers through their phones, giving them inputs, rice, necessary rice, fertilizer, and other inputs that will help farmers. And it has been built up to a level that our local rice is now in the market. You believe with me that our local rice is selling now. But because of what the problem we have now, which of course is not natural, is man-made. This problem we have now that has brought shortage of food in our country. Nigeria is opening their border for 150 days and 180 days for rice to be imported, for brown rice to be imported into the country, maize to be imported into the country.
Why so? Because we don't have them?
Yes, because there is shortage of food. There is food insecurity in the country. Are you not aware?
No, don't worry.
There's food insecurity, and that's one of the reasons why this hike in price is affecting everybody.
So sir,
why the
to ask, you were the former commissioner for agriculture in Enugu State.
Yes.
What did you do differently when you were in power? Because you spoke about political will,
yes,
and you spoke about the former minister of agriculture,
yes,
and how he tried to do something. So when you were, forgive me, when you were the former minister, former commissioner rather, what was different in your own time?
Yes, I became the former I became the commissioner for agriculture in 2019.
Okay.
And as an agriculturist, I'm an agricultural economist by profession, to my PhD level. And my belief was that we are going to improve. And actually, we left where we are to a better place in Enugu State.
Okay, sir,
but we are not exactly where
you wanted
I wanted us to be.
But sir, could you please give us like figures or data to back up you?
When I came in as Commissioner for Agriculture, there was a problem that sparked us up to do something. There was this problem of transportation that the Northerners said they were no more giving us tomatoes, just tomato as a crop. There was a problem. They stopped giving us tomatoes. But I know that we can grow tomato in our land here. So I now looked at all other vegetable crops, like cucumber, watermelon, carrot, onions, name them. And with my team, we had to brace it up at that level and started producing them.
And are they still in?
They're still in production till today.
Okay.
But there's a problem along the line.
Okay.
Those that went out to establish commercial farms with respect to these value chains, we are chased away by herders. We are chased away by the so-called cattle rearers. And those farms they established then, they no longer have them. They can't go there again. Because nobody wants to go and die. So something needs to be done on that level so that we can maintain and have progress on what we have started already. So today, it is known that these vegetable crops that we get from the north can be grown here and even more effectively.
Okay, so recently, today one of the headlines we had in today's paper, because we're still going to go deep into this, but I don't want to forget this. One of the headlines we had in today's paper said that the federal government is disbursing or giving out 20 trucks of rice
to the 36 states,
to
including
36
FCT.
states, including FCT in Nigeria. And I know you were a former commissioner for poverty alleviation.
Yes, I was.
Okay, so during your time, did you also disburse 20,000 trucks? I'm just saying. So what did you do differently to alleviate poverty in Enugu State?
It's a poverty alleviation is closely related to agricultural development.
That's why.
When you have your base, your agriculture developed, the poverty will be alleviated to some level. In 2007 was when I was commissioner for poverty reduction and human capital development. The then governor, Barrister Sullivan, Ihana Chochime, came all out to work for these people. He started by making sure that our inter-roads, connecting roads, were developed for farmers at least to go to their farm, for the agricultural team to get into the people, know what their problem is, come out with solution. And that was when we started the development of what we call the Neighborhood Watch Security Program.
In 2007?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, it was a program I handled myself. And I was so passionate on that program. Because when you give the people security, when they can secure what they have, they know whatever government puts in their area is their own, and they must secure it with everything they have. That program was done, and it enabled us also to find out little things that the community needed to improve. And these things were done. Could you imagine, in some communities, it was only a ring culvert that they needed for vehicles to be entered into their place. But for years, it was like that because it was not identified. Then we identified such things in some communities, and it was all done well. And things started flowing for them. So till today, I still know that some communities feel the impact of what that government did for them. So you can, it's not by giving palliatives.
Yeah, because I was about to ask
it's
your
not
opinion
by
on that.
giving people palliatives, 20 trucks of rice, 20 trucks of maize. That is not I would say, the best way to alleviate poverty.
So to put you on the spot immediately.
It's a means of alleviation, but it's not the best. It's a very temporal measure.
Okay, sir. Sorry to cut you in, but to ask, what is the best way?
The best way is to institute to the people, institute on them that system that will make them continue to provide for themselves by providing them with inputs, providing them with the necessary things that they will use to improve themselves. For instance, in agriculture, you get the land ready for people. Of course, we know our system of land ownership in the country. If you can get the land ready for people, that's why we have the Ministry of Agriculture, to put them in units, put them in clusters or cooperatives, and teach them what to do. Palliative is giving people fish. 20 trucks of rice is giving them the fish. Teach them how to catch the fish, so that when the one you give to them finishes, they will now get fish for themselves and continue life.
Okay. Sir, from the fact that you said 2007, you were the Commissioner for Poverty Reduction and Human Capital Development. And I know that for every of those commissions, there is budget allocations. Now, my question is, were you tempted at some point to siphon some of the resources that was to be given to the indigenous? You know, because we are humans. You know, sometimes the goodies becomes too much. Were there times that you were tempted to, you know, to siphon things or to take things for yourself?
I don't know what you mean by siphoning.
Okay, no, maybe the word siphon might be too much. I mean, were there times that, you know, you were tempted, for instance, this 20 trucks that was sent by the government, federal government, to the state. And I'm sure when it gets to the states, it will also be disbursed, given off to different quotas. You know, was there a time that you felt tempted to mismanage or embezzle some of the things that were given to you?
Well, I don't think you expect me to tell you yes. But what I will tell you is the truth of the matter.
Okay.
When, I'm not saying such things did not come then, but there were still things that came that was actually shared to the people.
Okay.
When we had the opportunity of doing such, a committee would be formed. The ministry don't do it on their own. The government will form a committee. It doesn't necessarily mean that as the Commissioner for Poverty Reduction will be the chairman. No. Because you have other things you're doing. In fact, such sharing, such gifts or such palliative is not even expected to come to the Commissioner. Because
why so?
The expectation is that as a Commissioner, I could fend for myself and my family. This was meant for the downtrodden, the real poor people. Yeah. I don't like using the word poor. I like using the word the downtrodden. You understand? So if you use what was meant for them for yourself, then what are you preaching? So, and I've never in any way preached outside what I'm supposed to do. So there was a program we handled then that was called Conditional Cash Transfer Program. It was a federal government program that each state, Enugu was used as a pilot state. Enugu, Lagos, we had 6 states in the federation. Enugu came first in that program. And the advantage was that we were given another tranche. So it went round the whole communities where we looked for the poorest of the poor. And we got them, empowered them, and today I will tell you, each time I see those that we empowered in that program, today some of them are graduates. I feel fulfilled. It's not about the money. It's about making people. And that's one thing failed to understand in this nation. That human development and financial development, you use the finance you have to develop humanity.
Okay.
And the other humanity will understand, who understand how he or she started, will also develop others. So, but you need the political will to get all these things done. Yes, you might be called some names, but be focused that what you're doing is the best.
So speaking about the political will, we have a lot of people who are currently in that political power, which are the government. So have they done anything to address this high cost of food that is happening right now in our country?
Yeah, that's what I said, that the government of the Federation
Yes.
is opening a window, 150 days or 180 days window for importation of food into the country. But personally, I've analyzed it, and it's not the best for us.
Okay, so that's why are there any potential long-term consequences of this situation, this rise in food costs, such as malnutrition or social interest?
Of course, you know what it means. A hungry man is an angry man. When you don't have food to eat, for instance, you've been eating, and now it becomes difficult. What you purchase with 1,000 naira, you are now getting it with 5,000, and you don't have such means. The implication is that you must eat. You must look how to eat. Either by doing some negative things, some vices will increase. Such vices that will lead you to doing one or two things that are not right, just for you to feed. You might go into stealing.
Yeah.
You might go into doing some other bad things that you shouldn't have done if things were working well.
You said something about the fact of instead of giving a child a fish, teach the child how to fish.
How to fish.
Now, the government is releasing 20 trucks of rice, opening the border. So I'm asking, are there any concerns about government policies potentially contributing to the problems such as these things they're doing? Are there any concerns about some of the government policies?
Yes, the concerns are there. Like I've said about the vices is going to push out or introduce to us. There's also the concern with respect to those agricultural policies that we already have. When, like I mentioned, the minister who said we should look inwards, produce, and some measures were taken.
Yes.
And is ongoing. Mm-hmm. Now, if you open the border and bring in food, what have you done to the existing policy? You have marched it to the floor. And when you want to continue to produce, continue on your own again, yeah, you start afresh. Because those farmers that you have already built that are working, mm-hmm, they've lost the hope. You've dashed their hopes by bringing in food from outside. Those things we've built ourselves, it's just like one building a house, and at a point you are told there's a makeshift house for you. Don't bother building again. And you leave your this thing at the foundation level and go to live in that makeshift. Mm-hmm. And government will now one day come and say, no, we want to use this place as road and pull down those houses. You go back to the one you started before.
The one you left behind.
You left and start building. Maybe you'll be under the rent to be building them. So it is not good for the policy that had already been built up. A country that keeps on importing everything they use is a poor country. You remain poor. Instead of addressing the issue squarely, what is it that has led us to this scarcity of food? Why are we having scarcity? Why are prices of goods so high? It is not solely about fuel. No. Why are we having food scarcity? The government should sit down and ask themselves the question. There are experts that know it. Just like the same Adesina has advised that this policy of opening the border is not the best for the country. He has given the advice. He's the president of African Development Bank now. He has advised. The country, the president, those that are in power, know those that they can meet for such advice. Experts that can help this country. Nigeria is a great country and have intelligent and experts in different fields.
So is it a problem of, with the government of trying to use ways that they would, okay, for lack of a better word, siphon money? Because I remember asking one of my guests, because I asked, do we have leaders that have eyes but can't see, or ears that have chosen not to hear?
Both.
Or are they also employing measures or doing things that would encourage them be able to take out some chunk amount of money for themselves?
You have said it. Opening border for 150 days. They've already hatched this idea before today. And believe you and me, in the next 1 week or two, you see rice all over this country. So they've planned on what to do. And that goes to show that it is on selfish ground what I will gain from this, not what the masses will gain.
So beyond
so,
the
sir,
government.
to ask a very personal question, you were the former, I like to still bring that up. What were the additional measures you did during your own time to help curb this food crisis?
In my time, we didn't have such quantum, or how will I put it? We didn't have it as bad as it is now, but there was still some signs that such will come because of the insecurity problem in the nation. Farmers were chased out of their farms. If you were doing 20 hectares of land and all of a sudden you are stopped from going into that 20 hectares of land to farm, you've lost products. You've lost anything coming from that 20 hectares. So whatever that is coming is minus 20 hectares.
Okay. So I want to ask.
I want us to get this very clear.
Yes.
Insecurity is the bottom line of our problem.
Okay. So we've been able to identify the problem. I would like to now ask the solutions. What, just in 2 minutes, just give us the visible and practical solutions that we can do to curb this thing.
The government.
Can we just hold the government alone accountable?
The government must lead, because it is the prime responsibility of the government to provide security for the people. And it's not as if this security issue is hidden or you don't know where it's coming from. If the government provides security for the people, they can surely go to their farm, already established, and continue to produce food.
All right, sir, please.
And there will even be chances of increasing.
Sir, I would like you to hold your thoughts. We want to go on a short break. And we're still discussing about the food crisis here in our country and the possible solutions that we can get to leave the situation that we're currently in. Please stay glued to your TV station. We'll see you after the break.
Welcome back from that break. It's still Signature Morning on Signature TV. And like I always like to address, don't forget you can follow us on all our social media handles on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter as Signature TV Official. And you go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Signature TV. Just Signature TV. Subscribe and don't forget to press the notification button to always get you alerted. In fact, leave it there because constantly we're running 24 hours. There is no way to go back and forth because we have it all loaded for you. Before we took that break, we were discussing about the rising costs of things, food, especially in Nigeria. And we have no other person to do justice to this with us than Dr. Idu, the former commissioner for agriculture in Enugu State, also the former commissioner for poverty reduction and human capital development. Before we took the break, you were talking about, my colleague asked me to ask you about the solution, and you were saying the government. Now, beyond the government, because sometimes there is an adage that it says if someone, you know someone does not really care about you, you need to find a way to care about yourself. Now, beyond the government, how can various stakeholders, I talk about private businesses, NGOs, or international organization, well-meaning international organization, contribute to mitigating against this rising cost of food in Nigeria?
Yes, it's not what an individual can do. I will give you a scenario. A situation where a farmer goes to his farm and the cattle headers brings in their cattle into your farm. And you are there, seeing them in your presence, eating up what you have planted, what you have in mind that will help you solve the problems you have, send your students to school, finish your completed building, do this and that and that and that for yourself. And you see, within a twinkle of an eye goes off, and you ask them, why are you doing this in my farm? And the next thing you get is beaten, or you'll be killed.
So sir, this, you've raised it over and over. So
yes.
For us now, it's, for me, especially, I
Yes,
believe my colleague,
it's
because
the
I
same.
think
I just wrote it down, I swear.
Insecurity.
Yes.
Insecurity.
Is major problem. How so? Can you expatiate on the fact that insecurity has contributed largely to the insufficient food, to the high cost of living and everything?
Yeah, that's why I just gave you a small bit of it.
Yeah, we're listening.
Because
to
as
all
it
of
happened in one farm, it's happening in so many other areas.
that might not even
that
have
might even be
said.
said.
Okay.
Or we know. Good. We cannot continue like this. There must be a solution. And that's why I brought the government in. In areas where these things are constantly done, in areas where we have herders and farmers problem, are we saying that there's nothing we can do? Are we saying that we cannot identify people that are doing these things and get it stopped? It happened in so many other countries in the past. Let me use Ghana as an example. It happened in Ghana. The herders farmers problem happened in Ghana. But today it's no longer that way, because the government came in and halted it. The security people were all in the farm. They used systems like clustering.
Yes.
Clustering the farmers in a particular area.
Yes.
Opening up farms, opening up big farms, clustering them, and guarding the farm with security people. And these herders moved away from there. Are we saying we cannot do such in Nigeria? That's what I meant when I said the political will. Somebody must stand up and say, no, this kind of thing should stop. Even if you are going to import, you import. knowing fully well that you have some solutions already on ground. That even if you import for 3 months, that subsequently you will stop importing.
Okay, sir. To ask a very, very dicey question now. Are the government, are they in the same trousers or pocket with this, our guys causing the whole insecurity? Just like you said Ghana, they had this problem and then they sent security out to do all these things and then everything was done. So why can't it be done in Nigeria? We've been suffering this issue of insecurity for a very long time. Is it quite possible that the government and the headsmen or whatever, whoever they are in the same pockets, are in the same trousers?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the government should stand up and face it squarely. They should stand up and face it squarely. Because I know if they do that, if they decide on what to do, government never sent the herders to go and... I don't believe government sent the herders to go and damage or eat up people's crop. No. But it has happened and it's glaring. They should sit down and find solutions to this. That's why we have people that are charged with such. That's why we have security people. When you have insecurity, those agencies that are established to take a charge of security should come up.
Okay, so you said something. You said they should come up with solutions, and we keep asking, we're asking what kind of solutions? Because I also believe that during the last administration, you were part of the government. I mean, in Enugu State. And there were incidents of crisis, especially in, I think, Nsukka axis. Was it that particular?
Where it comes from?
Yeah, also one.
Wow.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So, and there were these incidents, and I also know during that administration, as if all around, most of the states in Southeast suffered that, but Akwa Ibom State, particularly, didn't have such kind of issue, in that rampart. That wasn't even mentioned. What do you think that Akwa Ibom State employed? What did they do differently that Enugu State didn't do? And so that we will know how, because you kept mentioning government should find solutions, government should start. What kind of solutions should they employ specifically?
Yeah, I was not in Akwa Ibom. I wouldn't know what they did. But whatever they did that made it not to happen is quite welcome. Maybe we learn from them or we'll find out what they did.
Okay, so maybe let me ask this question like this. What did you think you people at the government at that time could have done better?
Well, like I rightly pointed out, discussing with who are these headers. Somebody owns that cows. Somebody owns these cows that go into the farm. It might not be those that are rearing it that owns it. It might not be these people with different types of arms that owns it. Discussing with those people, reaching a conclusion. Remember, it's not just last 2 or 4 years or 6 years or so that these headers started coming to the east. There used to be a time they come with their families. They come with their wives, their children. They live in that bush, in their normal huts they make. They don't destroy people's crop.
So what?
As at that time, yes, they do not destroy people's crop. They live in harmony with the people.
So what do you think gave them the impetus?
I don't know.
To actually carry out such acts?
I cannot tell you. But this time around that they come to destroy people's crops, yes, they don't come with their family. They don't come with their children. They don't come with their wives.
So you think it's something that was
it looks as if it is premeditated for this to start this way.
Oh, so you know, you said something about Akwa Ibom. You said you don't know what
I don't know why Akwa Ibom employed.
But there were speculations that at the time Akwa Ibom banned beef. Like cows are not allowed into Akwa Ibom State, and so it was majorly goats. So do you think it's because some of us have long throats that we like beef? You know, that's why we allow it, and
it's
it
not
comes
just
with the
long
turn.
throat about liking beef.
Yes.
After all, beef is not the best meat.
Okay.
So if any state knows that,
Just making it like
if
that.
any state knows that this system was employed here, why not employ it in your own state to see if it will work? You know?
Yes.
By the time you do that, you are not against, you are not killing a human being. You are not violent. You are just using a system to bring down the problem envisaged. You see? So it's allowed. That's why I said, why don't we find out what they've done there or in some other states that they did not visit, employ it in our own state and see it, whether it will work. Because I tell you, my dear, if this issue of insecurity is not taken care of, don't expect food production to come up.
So you said you talked about trying to negotiate or talk with the owners of this cattle.
I'm thinking that way.
But another person will be like, because they know that these are happening. It's not possible that I will send you on an errand and I don't know what happened, the outcome, or whether you fell or something.
Yes.
So, and some other person will say you don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm not calling them that, but I'm saying that if at this point, you know, this is what they do, negotiating with them, do you think is a better option?
I'm just mentioning an option. I'm not saying this one is the best, but anyone that could take us to the best place, fine and good. You negotiate with them first and see the result it will give you. If it doesn't give you good result, you apply another means. You know, negotiating with them means both of you have found out that this thing is wrong. What do we do to get it stopped?
Okay.
You will get to some point. Because most of the time when they eat up people's crop, you say, arrest them, take them to the police. How can you arrest? Is that a solution?
Sir, please, we would like you to hold your thought on this. So, as Nigerian battles with a high cost of food and other things, should Nigerians pay for state-owned transport companies to get the work done? We went into the streets to feel the pulse of the citizens. I'll see you after this Vox Pop.
You go to some of our public institutions, because you want to say tuition is free, the laboratories are almost empty. So when you pay money, just like an investor, when you pay, you ask for value. When you see buses in the nation's capital, buses are designed to take 50 passengers. Sometimes you have over 110, 120. That's because they are highly subsidized and free. For me, subsidy, yes, but free, highly no. It shouldn't be free. And this is the only way to be honest, because we're preaching about sustainability. If it is free, we can't sustain it.
If masses are going to be paid, it has to be in a subsidized amount of money. Let the government subsidize it, because major thing we are facing now is a problem of transportation, the high cost of transportation. All of us move from one place to the other, goods and services move from one place to the other, but when the cost for transporting goods and services to where it is needed is highly expensive, it will affect the price of goods and service itself.
Let Innoson produce buses for Nigeria, electric buses, and let them be carrying people all over 100 naira. Nigerians can afford it. 100 naira. Even if from here to Gawalada, 100 naira. From Ketu in Lagos to Victoria Island, 100 naira. If they do that, the buses, the distance will reduce. You understand me? You set up a charging point where they can go and charge their buses. Like in Lagos now, they have a depot for the buses. Let them go there and charge the buses and be carrying people 100 naira. It will reduce the economy.
A state like Ebonyi State budgeted 68 million to buy SUVs for their state House of Rep members. So if that could be budgeted, state like Benue, Governor Ilya was saying the budget for House of Rep members to acquire a car is 60 million. That means Nigeria is wealthy. I think transportation can be made free but I don't think these people that are making money from this would like to stop right now. The transport sector is a huge sector of the economy, but then the everyday increase in prices, remember, has not made people to be happy about the transport sector.
Coincidentally, if the governor can instruct the director or the manager of any transport state corporation that any citizen, not only even their citizen, any person that come to their office that are looking for assistance of the transportation from their state to another state or interstate or intrastate, they should be giving them, consider them free or complimentary board ride of transportation from point A to point B. The lower people, the less privileged, the state government should make it, and students, the old people, they should make it free to them.
Really affecting. Like if you can see people moving over there, everybody are trekking, they cannot enter transport because of the cost of transport and all that. People go a long distance, 1 mile, 2 mile trekking because of no money. And not only that, a lot of criminal and all that. I know I have lost out to 4 phone where I was trying to see how I can get a cheaper car because where I want to go, then charge me a lot to take me to that place. The first time I lost my phone, second time I lost my phone. And it's because of hungry. That is why those boys increase in robbery.
Abuja is not working very effectively. You know. Then the government should look into it and provide more. And they can go to countries, other countries, developed countries, go there and get there. They know what to do. And they bring it down, the price. And they also consider the pass also. Because the former one, the urban mass, many of them packed now in the garage. They are not working. And they ask, they say, this one has a small issue, this one has a small issue. Which day are they going to fix it? So they will government to sit up to put these things in order.
That is voices from the streets, where people express their opinion about different policies of the government. From the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Nasiru Usman, reporting for Signature TV.
A sad one back there. You're welcome back. This is still Signature Morning on Signature TV. You hear people and you wonder, do we have leaders? Or is there more to it? We still have the Honorable Dr. Matthew Idu, the former Commissioner for Agriculture in Enugu State, and also the former Commissioner for Poverty Reduction and Human Capital Development in person again of Dr. Matthew Idu. Before we went on that break, you were saying something. But before we get back to it, I want you to react to what you heard. You know, there is a question I'll be meaning. You know, we mentioned oil. We keep mentioning this fuel. And I know Nigeria have more than 2 refineries in this country. I just want to be very conservative. I want to, you know, and the Niger Delta boys, the Niger Delta guys, they could actually refine crude oil in the way they do, in the local way, and sell it. But we have refineries here in the country, not refineries, yet we export our crude and import it back. I need you to honestly react to what you heard from voices on the street, sir.
My reaction is what you already know.
I honestly don't know. I want to hear it.
I will react. If I use the word insane, are we really people? Are we insane? Nigeria is one of the highest producer of crude. Yeah. Natural that God gave to us. Mm-hmm. God created this country on just in a day. He used only one day to create this country. He didn't combine us with any other country.
Right.
But he has done us good.
Yes.
You have crude. This crude must be processed to get the products.
Yes.
Beautiful. You export your crude. You export your crude to another country.
Yes.
They produce PMS for you and other products and send back to you as their own export, and you are now importing. To me, it's not something done by a reasonable person. If you say you're reasonable, things like this should not come around you. Not that you are not producing the PMS before. Mind you that we have, I think, close to 4 refineries in this country.
Yes.
What are they really doing? And you still have staff in those companies that you are paying.
And these refineries are owned by Nigerians?
It's owned by Nigeria. It's owned by this country. Employed staffs are working there, but are not producing anything, and you are paying them. With whose returns are you paying them with? So for me, NNPC, whatever you call them, and some other people that I look at them, I look at it as a scam.
So just to add to this, the NNPC chairperson came out to say that by August, he's promising to open the Port Harcourt refinery. What was your take?
This is not the first time we are hearing promises like this. It was promised earlier that the Kaduna own will start working. Port Harcourt is this. Warri is this. Come on. Who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? But we forget that all we are doing is not just for here.
Yes.
If you make any mistake, if your mistake leads anybody to death, you will account for it. It might not be here, but over there you account for it. We are talking about food shortage. Somebody is causing this food shortage. And if you are the one doing it, be very careful. It will boomerang. Nigeria have not been in this position before. I still remember when we were growing up, we were told that at a point in this country, government were saying they don't know what to do with money. Did you hear that?
I think so.
You've heard it?
Yes, I have.
Good. The same country where government said they don't know what to do with money is the same country that is going into food crisis. And people cannot find food again to eat.
Okay, sir. So
they have advantages. People who are managing all these areas, they have advantages they are getting from all they are doing, which is selfish. If they don't have advantages, things would have been done well. So we need to look at all of them one by one.
So, sir, what's your prognosis for the future of food security in Nigeria? What's your prognosis? What are you forecasting from what's happening?
We should look inwards, continue to look inwards the way we've been doing.
Right.
We should not bring food importation as our hope. No. We are importing food into the country at this time around when the dollar price is so high. And you expect who to buy the goods? The same good you are bringing, it will still be high. Even if you give it to people free this time around, it's consumable. They will eat it and they will still need more tomorrow. Will you continue to import? As we know it, we all know it, that a country that continues to import food is a poor country. Not that we don't have good soil. We have good soil in this country. We have all it takes to produce food. What we are lacking is empowerment of the farmers. Government should empower the farmers. For instance, in places where you need to open farms, don't expect an individual to, it's highly, the cost is high to open up a farm.
Yes.
government should help farmers to open up farms.
Thank you very much.
You know, before because we're about to, but before we do that, I want to ask, there are leaders like Ibrahim Traore and Mujica of Uruguay. Are our leaders blind to see or emulate from good examples?
Maybe we'll put a call to the president of the country, Tinubu, to ask him, are you blind? If somebody is not doing what he's supposed to do, what do you call such a person? That he's blind. Blind does not mean you are not seeing with your eye. There are many segments of blindness. Blind of the mind, blind of the soul. When you are blind in your mind, you cannot reason well. When you are blind in your soul, you can kill. You are seeing, but you're blind. It's not like we have poverty. Poverty of the mind, poverty of reasoning. Poverty is not just only in the pocket. There are so many areas where this country is poor. And until we begin to remove them one by one, this issue will not be abated. People who have the mind to lead the country are not what we are saying. Any house built on a bad foundation cannot stand.
Thank you very, very much, sir. Oh, we've been discussing the rising of cost of food in Nigeria, how it affects both the common man and everyone entirely. And we've been discussing this intensively with Dr. Matthew Edo, the former Commissioner of Agriculture and Natural Resources in Enugu State. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your input, and it was lovely to have you here, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
So we're
going
to be going on a short break right now. Please stay glued. We'll see you after the break.